This one is from the Just Know Mother-in-Law subreddit. Mother-in-law ruining my postpartum. Give it to me straight. Hi, everyone. Just had my first baby, and I'm honestly overwhelmed and upset. For context, my in-laws are young. They're early 40s and live right next door. My husband and I moved here last summer. My mother-in-law doesn't work, has no real hobbies or social life. We used to be close, but during pregnancy, the boundary issue became impossible to ignore. Throughout my pregnancy, she constantly made me feel less like a person and more like an incubator. Everything resolved around the baby, her excitement, her emotions, while mine were mostly ignored. I was working full-time with 1 to 2 hour commute each day during the pregnancy. She frequently showed up unannounced at our door and even our windows, expecting constant attention from me and my husband, and guilted us with comments like, "You don't love me anymore," when we didn't immediately welcome her in. At one point, she even showed up crying on our doorstep, saying she was just emotional, not because of anything we did. Meanwhile, I was also emotional during pregnancy, and that didn't seem to matter. I cried in my room after she left. Both times she showed up crying. It was emotionally draining when I was already hormonal and dealing with work stress. She constantly asks me, "How are you feeling?" but never actually listens. It feels like a placeholder question so she can pivot back to herself. She also love bombs constantly and expects you to give it back to her. She also gave a lot of unsolicited advice, like telling me not to be picky with parenting so she could feed my baby sweets and kiss the baby however she wants, even after I said I wasn't comfortable with that. She's already spoiled our previously well-trained dog by ignoring our rules, then blamed me for the dog's behavior in front of others. She also openly dismissed my preference for a C-section without even trying to understand my reasons. She also has been telling me how good of a mom she was and how her cousin looks up to her as a mother. Based on what I hear from husband stories and her behaviors these past years, doesn't seem like she put in much effort to praise her as a good mother to somebody else who's been already putting in more effort. This all felt like narcissistic and gaslighting behavior. Fast forward to birth. I ended up with a C-section after 2 days of an induction. We had a really rough first night with our newborn. No sleep, hormones, the physical recovery all at once. On the day I gave birth, she made an Instagram birthday announcement that excluded me and centered everything around herself and her son. It sounded like my husband gave birth by himself. That post honestly ruined what should have been the best day of my life. My husband had a heated conversation with her about it. Mother-in-law deleted and reposted one including me. After that, she started tagging me publicly on Instagram, sending overly supportive messages and praising my hard work, all clearly leading to the same goal. She wants to come see the baby immediately at the hospital. I already had turned them away twice when they showed up to the labor and delivery unannounced during my induction. They followed up to say hi when I was half naked and getting my vag checked and poked every few hours. My own mom was texting me not to worry about updating her so I could focus on myself during that time while she was staying up all night worrying about me. When my husband asked his dad to step in, we were told that we needed to understand that because her family keeps asking when she's seeing the baby. So this doesn't feel like it's about my recovery or the baby. It feels like it's about her saving face. It seems like everyone around her is just used to how she is. She's also saying the baby looks like her other son, even though the baby clearly looks Asian and looks like me, the mother. It feels like she's trying to claim the baby and erase me during a very vulnerable time, especially after the Instagram post of my baby's birth excluding me. On her post for our wedding, I was excluded as well. At this point, I'm honestly considering staying in the hospital longer than necessary because I'm not ready to deal with her once we get home, especially since she lives right next door. I'm disappointed, angry, and exhausted. I don't want to manage her emotions, her expectations, or her obsession while I'm postpartum and healing. I'm looking for advice, both for me and my husband, on how to set and enforce boundaries postpartum, especially when the mother-in-law lives next door and uses guilt, public pressure, and constant gaslighting. My husband sat her down and set boundaries a couple of months ago. It seemed to work for a bit, but then she only came back more aggressive once the baby was out. He seems lost after talking to her so many times. How do we protect our peace without turning this into a constant battle or ruining the relationship? I appreciate any advice here. Cheers. Let's see. I think for this one, we're going to go straight to the comments. So one commenter says, it's hard to be forced into this situation, but when it comes to making you happy or her, choose you. You deserve to be supported and centered in the birth of your child. Your husband and you need to tell her that she is causing too much stress when you're in need of support. As such, she needs to wait to be invited to meet the baby, or she will do irreparable harm to her relationship with your family. The social pressure is just another manipulation tactic to bulldoze your boundaries. Who gives a fuck if her family is asking if she's met the baby? She has been centering herself so much in your pregnancy that she has fooled her family into believing it's about her becoming a grandma. Her feelings, her excitement, and her expectations are hers to manage. If anyone is mad at you for not acting like an incubator, they don't need to have access to you either. Another commenter said, your husband needs to show his shiny spine and tell his mom to calm the fuck down. She will not visit unless invited. If she comes over uninvited, then she won't be allowed back until you decide. Tell her you want a minimum of a week of no visits so you can recover and bond as a small family unit of 3. Excuse me. If she doesn't like it, 2-week timeout. Now is the time to get all mama and papa bear and rage against the overbearing out-of-line machine. Here's another comment. Your mother-in-law is an asshole. Grade A, narcissistic flavored asshole. The first thing you have to accept is that this will be a battle. And there's no way around it. She won't accept your boundaries and your no's quietly. The good news, it's not your battle to fight. It's your husband's. You need to sit with your husband and agree that he will deal with your mother-in-law going forward. Agree what is acceptable for you both and only you two. Her feelings can't be taken into account here. Otherwise, you'll never set boundaries. And think about the different scenarios that might crop up. What needs to happen if she does X? What do we say if she says Y? What do we do if she does Z? Then stick to it. Make sure that your husband knows he is the shield and first line of defense. His mother, his responsibility. You've got far greater things to deal with as a new mother. Let the dad protect his family. You'll also have to accept that she's likely to spin lies and drama about you to the wider family once you start pushing back. You cannot control that. So the quicker you can realize that it doesn't matter what other people think of you, the better. Those who know you, know. Those who are fed drama from your mother-in-law and eat it up aren't worth your time. And congratulations on your baby. Let's grab one more. Another one said, and I love this, please ask your significant other to read this post and take on board the advice. His support is so important. If you don't get it, bring in a friend, a hired doula, or your family urgently to support you and set boundaries. A doula would be my first choice as they won't care at all about anyone or anything other than the best interests of you and your child. So, time to set up and put your mother in her place. Your priority is your partner and your new child. They come before anything and anyone else. Block your mother if you need to. This won't be easy for you as you are so accustomed to her behavior, but it truly is not normal. Please enforce the boundaries with consequences. And OP came back and said, this is great. Thank you.